do you have a trade to announce?
No, I know it's late, guys, but I think right now it'd be inappropriate to make any comment on rumors. But when and if there's something to announce, we'll let you know.
All right, so Owen Power, what made him the selection at number 1? And second of all, have you guys really mapped out a plan for him for this season, whether it's Michigan or?
Yeah, too early, obviously, to have had all those discussions with Owen and his team. But I think Owen was extremely impressive. The way he handles himself on the ice and in all parts of his game. With the puck, his poise, the defensive reads he makes with a great stick, his hockey IQ. I love his length. I love his skating. He just is he's just a all-around good player that we really think is going to continue to get better and better. And he's a really high-character kid who is excited about being in Buffalo. He lives just, in Mississauga, which isn't too far. And it's just, we're really excited about him. It was a great day for our organization today.
He felt like if he had to start in the NHL, he could. And he also felt like, he kind of felt like there's no bad scenario either way, whether he went to Michigan or he started in the NHL. Do you kind of feel the same way, or would you like to see a little bit of development in college ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Paul, it's, I know we're talking about the number 1 overall pick and a player that's clearly capable of stepping right into the NHL, but I think you have to look at the long game, even with a player at this level, to say, what is the best for him and how does he continue to get better? And for me, it's great to have someone step right in and they're playing, but really want to make sure these guys are going to be at their peak when it's, however many years that takes, 2, 3, whatever that is. And so it's too early since obviously it was just tonight we made this pick, but we're going to sit down and have those discussions. And we're absolutely open to what we think is the best way to work with Owen to help him become the best player he can. And that's how we're approaching it.
Kevin, Elliott and others are saying that you traded Sam to Florida. Are you saying that is incorrect?
I'm just saying it just be inappropriate right now because we're working on things. And I know that I don't know sometimes when you say how long it could go or couldn't go. And so you're sitting here waiting. So I'm having this conversation with you guys, but it would just be inappropriate right now for me to get into rumors.
The second area then would be there's a lot of reports about Jack's skating. Is that true? And B, what is Jack's physical status right now?
Yeah, I think his regular communication with Jack's agents and I don't know. I don't know whether reports are he's skating or not. He hasn't been in Buffalo, but hopefully he continues to progress. And by all accounts from Peter Fish, his agent, he's doing well. So we'll see where it goes from here. You mean just somewhere else in the world, or like in Buffalo? I don't know. No, I'm not sure. Guys skate. It's pretty common that guys would skate in the off season wherever they are. So that's great if they skate.
With Owen, or I'm sure you've envisioned him and Rasmus Dahlin together. What kind of combo could that be?
Well, I think what we're starting. I think what we started seeing last year, towards the end of the year, with Rasmus was him really playing the game the way that he needs to play to have success, and a pair. And we'll see how it all shakes out over time. But it's critical to bring out the best in each other. So I think when you're looking at our back end now and you're projecting forward, I'm not talking in the short term, but in the longer term, with having players like that, there's a lot to be excited about.
You said during the draft that your asking price for Jack was too high. I'm sure you would counter that it's the right price.
John, I think right now, I think we are going to continue to look in every possible way to get our organization going in the right direction. And whether I get asked questions specifically on Jack or on someone else, I'm going to give you the same answer in terms of we're going to be open to everything, but we need to step forward. And if we're going to do something with a player, it has to be of value to our organization going forward. And if it's in our minds perceived that the value isn't there on any player, then we wouldn't do that. So that's how we're approaching it.
We'll take a couple of quick questions from Zoom now.
Kevin, can you hear us okay?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to start with John Worrell.
Hey, Kevin, John Worrell. I'm here from home. Sorry I can't be down there, but I've got two questions. One is the fact that you traded Rasmus Ristolainen. There could be something in the works here with Reinhart. We'll see. But, how much do you feel that the Sabres could be pointed, and with the addition of Power and Rosen, how much do you feel the Sabres are pointed in the right direction, as you said, more so today, possibly tomorrow, after this weekend than you were before?
Yeah, I think, like I said to you guys yesterday, it's an exciting weekend because I feel that we have an amazing opportunity as an organization to take a step forward and add quality players to our organization and quality people. So, in terms of the Risto trade, it's I really like him as a person, as a player. But what we had to do is what I just said to you guys. We have to look at every possible scenario and how does that affect us in the short kind of term and in the longer term look at things. And we felt that although Rasmus has been a very good Buffalo Sabre and done a lot of good things in this organization, the value that we got warranted us making that decision.
And just as my follow-up question, when it comes to Michigan hockey, I mean, it's unusual to have three. It's the first time three players from the same college team, let alone three college players, I think, went in the top five. What was it about, Owen and the other two guys in Kent and Matthew that really stood out, among the people who were projecting them, and did the fact that we had limited looks at some players as opposed to Michigan, did that play an effect maybe in the fact that you had more looks on some guys as opposed to others?
Well, I think it's an interesting point you make. I think in some regards, when you have that much talent on one team, there's going to be a lot of eyes on it. And certainly the draft eligible players, that was the case. But they also have some pretty good hockey players that are either drafted already, by other teams. So there was a lot of attention on that team. But I think, John, what stood out, as you watch a player like Owen in particular, just his ceiling for us is he's already a very good player. It projects to be just the next level of continuing to get better. And then doing our due diligence on Owen and finding out everything we could on his background and how he approaches his off ice, how he's been raised. There's just so many qualities that we're looking for and to bring into this organization. And when you put it all together, it's why we called his name number one.
Kevin, it's Dan Rosen with NHL.com. I guess it's a two-part question. I hope you can hear me okay. But I don't expect you to give away details or anything, but how would you characterize interest in Jack at this point that you are receiving? And on top of that, it doesn't happen often that you feel like you have needs in a lot of different places and you have a player who, if moved, might be able to address a lot of those needs if you get the return you want. Is that kind of how you view this situation with Jack?
Well, there's been it's been a busy stretch here leading up first the expansion draft and now into today. There has been a lot of conversations on a lot of different things on our team. So certainly a player of that level, there's going to be phone calls. And I've said from day one that we have to look at every possible scenario and be willing to see, does this make sense for us and why? And ask those hard questions. So we continue to do that. We're having a lot of conversations. But we're in a position where we feel that there's value and we feel it's going to help our franchise, then we'll make certain decisions. But it's the same for the way we look at all players. It's just different conversations, but that's how we're viewing it.
Hi, Kevin. Ryan Zook here with the Ann Arbor News. I know this was kind of asked in the previous question, but how much do you think Owen playing with those other high picks at Michigan last year might have helped in his development?
Well, I think, one thing I'll make a point about that on development is it's not just games where you develop. And when you're in practice every single day going with and against elite players, that helps your development. So, I absolutely tip my cap to Michigan and the way they've been able to bring the players that they have in. But I just know as a former player, when you're going every day against top players in practice, you get better. So I'm sure that played a role in it. And there's a lot of talent on that team, as I mentioned.